Hello and thanks for joining us today on The Store. Let's kick off with our pick of some news and updates from the world of retail in top lines. Let's watch.
Arvind Fashions Limited has announced the preferential allotment of equity shares aggregating to Rs 439 crores to multiple marquee investors, including Akash Bansali, existing shareholders, including ICICI Prudential Mutual Fund, several foreign institutional investors, Ashish Dhawan, along with other investors. Aura Merchandises Private Limited, a promoter entity, also participated in the fundraise. Kulin Lal Bhai, non-executive director, Arvind Fashions, said, "This capital will go a long way in completely strengthening AFL's balance sheet and help counter any potential COVID-related uncertainties." Shailesh Chaturvedi, CEO, Arvind Fashions, added, "This capital will help significantly deleverage the company's balance sheet and adequately fund growth in coming quarters." Arvind Fashion Limited's portfolio includes US Polo Association, Arrow, Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, Flying Machine, Aeropostale, and Ed Hardy. It is also India's leading beauty retailer in partnership with Sephora. India is one of the most exciting markets globally and is poised to grow to over $1 trillion by 2025, according to Walmart Inc. President and CEO Doug McMillon. Speaking at the Converge Walmart event, McMillon noted that India is not one country in some ways, and so Walmart has to think local and execute locally. In the event, Macmillan further added,
and we're going to see a market that's north of $1 trillion by 2025. And we're really excited about the Flipkart and PhonePe leadership teams and our associates there and the businesses that are being built. The Flipkart businesses now has reached over 300,000 marketplace sellers, and the PhonePe business has more than 300 million users, which is just an amazing number, and both are growing very well.
Logistics and supply chain startup Delhivery is reportedly ready to file a draft prospectus in October for its initial public offerings that could raise about $1 billion. The offering could include both new and existing shares, according to media reports. Delhivery, which is backed SoftBank Vision Fund and Carlyle Group Inc., is targeting a listing before March 2022. Founded in 2011, the firm handles about 1.5 million packages a day through its 43,000-strong team across India. It completed a Series H funding round back in June this year, led by Fidelity Investments, Fosun India Limited, Tiger Global, and Times Internet Limited are among its other investors. Delhivery would add to an ever-growing lineup of Indian retail-allied startups with IPO announcements this year, including Zomato, Paytm, Flipkart, and Nykaa. Global furniture retailer IKEA is set to open India's first city store in Mumbai's Worli area. The Worli store will be the first of its kind in India, following cities such as Paris, Moscow, and Shanghai, IKEA said in a statement. The 80,000 square feet Worli store will open towards the end of 2021, complete with restaurant and services such as remote planning and personal shoppers, as well as click and collect. This will be IKEA's third store in India after opening in Hyderabad and Navi Mumbai. Another large store is expected to open in Bangalore this year.
The cinema exhibition industry in India faced unprecedented pressures during much of 2020 and also in the first quarter of the current fiscal as a devastating second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic took hold. Things are looking up now with restrictions easing, but Inox Leisure is taking no chances. CEO Alok Tandon tells us on the C-suite how the company is shoring up non-cinema revenues and also why the OTT phenomenon is not really such a threat. Let's watch. The trouble is really for the businesses because you've got to find alternative sources of income just to survive. Luckily for Inox, you do have an alternative source of income, the F&B business, which I believe accounts for about a quarter of your revenues.
Right.
You're looking to enhance that to about 35% going forward. You've onboarded on Swiggy and other food delivery platforms.
Absolutely.
What else are you doing to meet that target of 35% revenue share?
F&B has always been a very important revenue component for us. And in the two previous financial years, F&B contributed to about 25% of our top line. And let me tell you that we are totally upbeat about the new renewed F&B roadmap, which we are rolling out. And we are quite excited about it. As you rightly said, that we have tied up with Swiggy, Zomato, with Easy Diner. So we are taking, I would say, major steps to ensure that our F&B revenues go up. We are looking at various meal options. For example, today we know that Inox has got a cafe and wine brand. We have got, I would say, a 7-star service which we offer in our insignia properties where food is concerned. We have got live kitchen in some of our properties. We have got a master chef who curates our entire menu.
So many producers over the past year have discovered they can cut down or even eliminate theater distribution costs, and go straight to the platforms. Some analysts believe that going forward, India will be a mix of OTT and theater, and with clear segmentation of content and audience types. What is your big picture outlook?
I would say 14, 15 months that movies have gone straight to OTT, and that too just a handful of them. As I said, that Inox alone showed 1,100 titles in FY 2020. So if 10, 20, 30 movies go on an OTT, it should not make a difference. And these were abnormal times. That's why the producers of the movie took their movies on another platform. But I'm very hopeful that when things normalize, when things get normal, everybody wants their movies to be seen on a large screen.
That's a wrap for this edition of The Store. Don't forget to watch Mr. Tandon's full interview on Sunday, August 29th on our YouTube channel, indiaretailing.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back next week with another edition of The Store.